Screens black with churning blue. The floor's like shark skin. Above the stage, which is like a crumpled rectangle, there's a bright screen with white protection, slow shadows, a few lines. In different parts of the stage, 4 performers. Rebecca is on a black platform shaped like a crudely drawn stake, wearing black with a line of sparkles. Benjamin as Miranda, in drag, heavily made up, covered in a veil of sparkling rhinestones.
But dreaming
Luke
is
sits.
dreaming, and dreaming might be a
Fayen
power source, but it
stands.
doesn't get you there.
With cane planted on the ground. On the screen,
They're wondering,
Georgina
can
looks
we send
upwards
any disabled
and
person
out at us.
at all into space? But no, you're not really going to go, because look at all these rules that we have for who gets to go, and then look at you and your body and your mind and compare the difference and feel shame, right? And feel
the performers
gaslighted
are
because
washed
we
in
tell you to
alert
dream,
red.
but we're also telling you you're not going.
On the screen, overlapping rectangles. Fishes of
Where we
light,
are right now, for those who are paying attention to the details,
Federation
the
Square.
rules are morphing. Things are on the move. We no longer have this very
Structural
narrow
support.
eye of the needle aperture to wiggle through to get to space. Disabled people
The
are
light in the
slipping
room
into space
surges
unnoticed.
from black and back.
Space is more accessible than space industry people think it is.
More rectangles on screen. I think it's a
Space
telescope
is a designed
dish.
environment. We are deliberately creating both the structures and the culture in which we choose to live when we move into space.
The performers
I don't
are all
want to feel
still.
too much like Earth. Anyone who thinks about it doesn't want that. We have systems now that are irritating and stupid. We don't have to reproduce those.
Washed fragments of image.
We
Stripped.
want to build something better.
On the screen, a cane glows like a lightsaber. I haven't seen Harry Potter, but I wonder if there's some kind of stick in there? No, I'm thinking of hats. I suppose a telescope dish is like a hat. The other screens are back to that churning blue. Could be early morning or late at night. Could be indigestion. The caption screens light up. A spot washes Fayen. She draws her cane down, searching at first, turning, raking its point, generating sound with it. Her dress is like looking really close at an LCD screen. Red, green, blue on black. White pants sticking out the bottom like Bugs Bunny's teeth. She holds her arm out like a kind of a shepherd. Purposeful and a little adrift from herself, maybe. A hand arcs over, and then the cane rests on the ground again. A deliberate drag. Handle like a golf club.
Luke has adjusted their position, looking at them casually. Stands up to approach Fayen and tenderly places their head in the nook of Fayen's shoulder. Lights go out And at a sharp degree to them stands Miranda, sparkling in a sequined layer of mesh. Their hands crisscross at the top and like quotation marks. They begin to mark the space. Their long turquoise nails curl, slice quite directly in all directions. Quite presentational. They pose with their hand on their hip. The silver stilettos are to be mentioned. Their bare back. Their writing.
Miranda's body is uncannily flexible and stiff, kind of like AI's Saturday Night Fever.
There are curling letters in the air that can be deciphered through sultry hip movements at times and as if drawing blinds down.
The audience is very still, about a step apart, few steps back from the edge of the stage, tentative.
Fayen and Luke mosey from the circle mat to the starlark mat. They're in parallel, guiding each other, but Luke seems to be influencing the rise and bend, the seesawing cane, watching all the while. From starlight mat to another bright circular corner and traces its edges, with Miranda's back turned on them.
There's an essence of calm, grace, stillness, pause, breath. Luke and Fayen sitting, watching Miranda. The sparkles on Miranda's gown, like a cosmos, reminds me of stars on my ceiling.
They mark a big belly, two of them in fact, in the air.
Hand on shoulder, twisting round, bending, shaping letters in the air, crisscrossing.
Rebecca has the best seat of the house. She gets to see all the action, just sitting down, standing still.
Reminds me of times alone as a child, watching the night sky.
Why does Miranda look so stern?
She's unbuckling her belt, places it on the transporter.
Luke has sensed, seeking, communicating, drawing a circle with a pointed finger. They climb through clothes, feeling edges, escaping all the time, trails. Take them to different corners of the space. Looking. Where is... They're shaping their question. Their fingers constantly moving their focus on them for a moment before being face to face with Miranda. To the ground, Miranda lays fetal, perhaps even slightly insecure. It's a bit of alone time.
Luke takes the shoes off from Miranda. It's like he's releasing her from the pain of wearing heels. I can feel that pain.
Miranda's head even turns away as Luke does this Reiki sort of thing, laying Miranda's arm out. Positioning their leg. Adjusting.
It feels soft, gentle. Like I could sit and watch it for a really long time.
There is an examination-like feel as well. I won't go so far as to say surgical, but they did pull heartstrings from their chest. And adversely, Luke is now suffering. Trembling, collapsing. They're separated by that large, flashy red sheet. And with Fayen as a triangle point, they've activated.
Fayen energy wiggling, wobbling, curving, shoulders shifting, like a pulse is beating through her body and energy. Sense of feeling, being drawn, being pulled, shifting, changing, shifting and changing, body's arms bent.
An upward escalation of bees exploding. A sensory warning. alarming rant across the space. Strange infrared patterns on screen, inky-like, changing to floating stars. Dust. Fayen commands, protects while marking the air in front. They're sensing over their shoulder. They're striking the air more vigorously, conjuring. Reaching beyond. And they settle casually back down on that hexagonal box. Rebecca is concentrating on their little devices and holding in hand a hearing aid. Jars of various sizes creating different frequencies. They chime into the microphone.
A bright white brick of light illuminating her. The jars are small, little inkwells. Sure, there's some kind of metaphor, ink, writing, sound, hearing aids. Rebecca's movements are careful. She places a tip of a hearing aid inside a jar, stirring it. Hands held open like a pearl shell. Not sure I've seen one. In silhouette, it looks like she's rolling a cigarette. The temperature of light has cooled. The brick has gone from white to mint. Miranda has started to stir. Like a baby moving for the first time, but really stretched out. I suppose babies are really flexible. It's like one of her feet doesn't really want to come with. Her legs and arms, slender and muscular, turn like a really messed up clock. She folds in on herself like a Leatherman. That's a yoga pose I wouldn't recommend. Her shoulder blades are sharp, like I imagine a dragon's would be, except a dragon has wings there. She rises. Her bodysuit, dress, printed in green and blue, like the first photo of Earth from space. Global fashion. Her hand sweeps around, softly docking into the other and falling to the ground. Scooped up again like Tai Chi. She twists her forearm like a kind of upside down duck Every time she bends backwards, as she's doing now, she gains a little bit more energy. Energy and strength aren't quite the same thing. Wraps her hands
with fingernails that are painted similar to her pantsuit that capture the light, sparkling and glittering.
smoke whispering on the caption screens. She reaches up like a paperclip against the visor and falls.
That seems like a way to hang their coat, and they fell down.
She rolls on the ground. Half sits, half squats. Literally split down the middle. She's pressing her palms to an invisible ceiling above her and then pushing herself up again. I can feel the stretch on the back of my legs. Must be nice. Her bare feet turn in on themselves, thick and stubborn like cake icing.
It seems that they're provoking something, egging them on.
Effervescent starlight in the background, uplighting like a modern apartment block. Miranda's turning, twisting, recoiling, returning, propeller-like arms reflected in the oily surface of the red visor hanging from the ceiling. I feel she's writing something, but I'm not sure what.
That looked like trying to put the key in the doorway behind you in the dark.
She reaches to a pole in the air, wraps her fingers around it, twists it, pinches, deforms it.
There's this way that they're pressing their fingers together that is akin to how Luke was fluttering in all corners of the space. But Miranda is so precise. They found it and they dropped it.
By now she's moved across the stage and she's almost stepping on that splattered star. Winding and leaning backwards, a finger in the palm.
Rebecca watching her intently, responding to movement with tiny jars and hearing aids.
A glitch in the light. Now it's fluorescent bathroom temperature.
Shielding hands. Feigning, but then doing high kicks at the same time. Ripping patterns all around. Discarding. Quick jumps, pivots. Luke has arisen. Like if two comets could be slowed down but come from different paths, somehow they're parallel but not in unison, drifting.
It's a dance in slow motion. It's like looking at an action movie.
The lights and shadows on the ground, and Miranda's shadow intertwining together.
Luke just ducked an arm swing. Miranda shoulder shoves Luke. Luke is baffled, their expression concerned, but now upset, but managing, not being the aggressor.
Feels like Luke wants to be friends with Miranda, but Miranda keeps rejecting him.
Miranda is piercing personally, persistently, never losing their orbit. They keep circling. Fall away. Luke is trying to be the good person here. Perhaps trying to calm Miranda down. That was a violent shove there. High kicks. It's very seriously dramatic in that melodramatic kind of way.
It's like siblings fighting during the teenage years.
I feel Miranda's energetic now.
They spin around like the propellers on a helicopter. And Luke is just earnestly, inquiringly calling out, trying to reason. The captions on the screens are big and bold. The colours are as vibrant. Royal blues contrasting suddenly with a...
Fayen takes action. She's part of the performance now. She's taking the cane. She has an objective. She's creating obstacles for Luke and Miranda.
Luke shelters somewhat behind Fayen, ducking the circling cane. They're still fighting it out. Miranda's hair is in disarray. They collapse side by side. The colours of Fayen's garment are echoed on the large screen. Warping, rippling. A box-like blur right in the middle, blocking. There is a late at night feel. No natural light. No moonlight bleeding in from a window. Pretty dim and dark. There's a sense of warmth from the orange glow of these smaller projector screens. It reminded me of a fireplace for a moment. And Georgina, who perhaps never slept or sleeps, is in a garden at night, blessing the roses that bloom in their wand-waving way, acknowledging each with an open hand.
The energy right now, it reminds me of the long walks we have, enjoying nature, enjoying the different views, the landscapes of Australia.
Pats their hair momentarily, their white hair. Image changes to cold-like scary fingers on a damp-looking wall. Before organic, collage-y, insect-like, pulsing takes over the screen. Meanwhile, the three are at rest, back to back, perhaps tapped in. A collage, an ecology, a way of things affecting another's growth, an unfolding.
When an image just kind of looks like
I'm not saying it's this, but it's a bit like dusting the flowers.
dim purple waiting, a violet stillness.
Cane handle held in right fist. I reach across my body before opening out again. The cane tip draws an arc overhead.
The caption screens
Falling with
light
the
the
message,
stage up
the tip
in
thuds
pink
against the
and
ground.
custard yellow.
Arms outstretched from the body.
I can see the screens
I breathe in,
through that
pulling
red
air
visor.
in, expelling.
Blocks of
Notice
colour,
the air that marks the
comforting.
space between us. I turn away. The cane
I'm
tip
thinking
sweeps
of
to the left,
homewares in the
then
90s.
kicks up to rise and hover horizontally as my knees bend.
Fayen,
A
Miranda,
slight twist of the wrist
and Luke
moves the cane from right to left.
sit quietly on the wheel.
The body softens, melting downwards.
Their bodies melt downward.
I place the cane
Is
gently on
Miranda
the ground.
falling asleep?
Sensing a rumbling from beneath, a cacophony of incidental movements, my weight shifts reactively.
Fayen moves to some other music.
Swiveling on the balls of my feet, I turn to face the
The
right.
voice recording is taking
I
control of
pause,
Fayen's body.
breathing. My torso pulses lightly.
It's like she's dreaming
I
of
shift my weight, stepping back,
cupping her knees,
turning to face a new direction.
dancing. But she's just turning on her
assured
heels a
steps
little.
bring me closer.
Miranda's breath, in and out,
I pause at the perimeter,
more
keeping
rapidly
a
than you
measured
would if you were
distance
resting
between me
silently.
and you. My right hand
green
sweeps
wash
forwards
coats the
and around.
performers.
My palm
Rebecca sits to
lands
one
flat
side,
against the front of
meditative,
my left shoulder.
legs folded, eyes downcast.
It etches a line horizontally across my upper chest, then falls away.
Fayen's balance
My left hand
sweeps from
reaches
left to
towards
right.
my right shoulder, left palm flat with fingers splayed. I
Dramatic
grasp invisible
feelings in
threads
that
and pull
grab
with
of the air.
force. My clenched fingers wrench away from my body,
A
following
tortured
a
quality.
diagonal path leftwards. My torso bows forwards
Wringing out
in
a sponge
reaction,
in the kitchen sink.
becoming concave. My left arm reaches a point of full extension. I circle my left wrist,
Miranda's
letting my
shoes
fingers untwist.
wink from the corner.
I allow the held energy to release out into the air.
Fayen's palms are upturned,
I
widening.
offer you my upturned palm.
She leans back into Miranda and Luke.
I can sense the rhythm of your beating heart. Its measured beat thrums in time with mine.
Like a child that's fallen asleep in the back seat, head lolling. Lime green light intensifying, and now the stage shifts to a kind of peach. She stands suddenly and walks. Fayen now stands in the middle of the stage signing. She looks resolute, maybe a bit pissed off.
Rebecca sees her and joins the stage.
Rebecca and Fayen walk reverently toward one another. Rebecca's hand touches Fayen's shoulder and falls down. Miranda's up now, dancing, carving letters in the air again, but much more loosely, fluidly and freely. Luke spins, holding Miranda's sensory veil on his knees. Fayen and Rebecca face off over a whirlpool on the ground, rotating positions. Suppose a whirlpool will make you do that. On the screen, Georgina orbits a stool with her cane and her body, then drops out of view. Luke stands and slowly, tenderly hands Miranda the sparkly, galactic veil. Rebecca and Fayen join hands again and stand directly on the whirlpool.
Miranda steps in to the galactic sparkliness. Luke helping her, holding her, watching and waiting, while Fayen and Rebecca calmly and quite matter-of-factly move and face each other.
On the screen, Georgina looks gleeful, multiple Georginas in small parts of the screen, turning forwards and backwards, spitting on the stool like a kid on playground equipment. It's quite sweet. Fayen and Rebecca sign to each other in sync. They're mirroring. Miranda's holding the cane, standing bolt upright. Luke is now washed in golden spotlight and is signing, I want to say magnanimously. He's pointing towards the other characters on stage. He has a comforting, calm way about himself now, smiling slightly. His movements are graceful and reassuring as he gestures towards and then past Rebecca and Fayen, who cross him on the right side, drawing Luke and Miranda into their path as they walk towards the teleporter. Georgina walks that way too, on the screen. Miranda, Luke, Rebecca and Fayen are now standing around the teleporter, as you do. Because it kind of looks like a jet engine. I wouldn't stand on that, but they're doing it now.
It's like they've done this many, many times before.
Together, they stand straight and look solemnly up to the sky. The lights drop.